How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the UKnowAdamTsang podcast, where you get to know a little bit more about people, passions, and all things business. Today, I'm sitting with the lovely Mary Beth Brown of Dolan's Barbecue in Statesboro, Georgia.
Hey guys.
Fantastic. We have been waiting for this moment for a long time. Hopefully, by the time that you hear the podcast, the barbecue restaurant will be up and running.
Fingers crossed. All fingers crossed, toes crossed, legs, all the things.
Everything is crossed. But wanted to kind of, speak with Mary Beth and talk a little bit about her journey, how she got here, and what caused her to want to tackle the restaurant industry in Statesboro, Georgia.
Ooh, yeah.
Fantastic. So telling me a little bit about Dolan's, if you don't mind.
So Dolan's is coming up on its 6-year anniversary. It's kind of hard to believe that we've been open for that long. So we started out really small in a little tiny cement block building, like most South Georgia barbecue restaurants are. I only open 3 days a week for lunch, and over the past 6 years, we've just grown, and we've grown our business, we've grown our customer clientele, we've grown our menu, and now we're expanding to another city.
Where were you before?
We were in Millen, Georgia before.
And are you originally from Millen?
So I'm actually from a little town called Garfield, Georgia, like the cat.
Uh-huh.
I grew up on our family farm, but I went to school in Millen, Jenkins County. So basically, yes, from Millen.
I got you. And then what started the restaurant? Was restaurant in the blood, or did you have family that was in it? What encouraged you to get into that?
So my sister Lazar and I, she started Honey. But even back in college, she went to culinary school, and then I went to Georgia Southern and got my hospitality management major. So, I mean, that's always been something, and even in college where she was a chef, I would work, at that restaurant, whether I was a waitress or a prep cook or, helping her on the line. Sometimes I was washing dishes, whatever she needed help with. And then when I graduated, I went and worked for the Ritz-Carlton for a few years and did the hotel side of that business just to see, if I like that. That was in Amelia Island.
Mm-hmm.
So Ritz-Carlton, Amelia Island, and they sent me to a couple of other places too while I was there.
What was that experience like?
It was great. Like I said, I went there and worked on the hotel side of hospitality just to see which side I liked better. I did a lot of different things while I was there. I worked. I started out in recreation, actually, so I was putting towels on people's chairs at the pool and the beach and cleaning that up. I dressed up as a pirate and a princess, and did kids stuff. And then I moved over to guest relations, where I was helping, put together amenities for guests. I was helping people put together proposals for their girlfriends. And then I just moved up, and my last job there was housekeeping manager, which was the biggest department in the hotel. And at that point, I just knew, the restaurant side of hospitality was calling me back.
Okay.
And I was just ready to be back home. I'm extremely close to my family, and, I was working all the time. And Lazar said, I'm ready to go out on my own. I'm ready to expand my business. She had started Honey Catering at that point, and it had been open for about 8 months. And she was ready to, do more with that. And I was like, well, I'm ready to come home. I've done this. I know I can do it, but I'm ready to come back. And so she's like, well, I need your help. So it kind of all worked out together. So I came back, and we did the whole Honey stuff for probably a year. And then we were sitting around thinking it was during our slow time. Summer is always the slower time for catering because it's too hot for people to get married in July in South Georgia.
Yeah.
So we started thinking about, we always knew that we wanted to name some part of our business after our grandfather Dolan. He was a huge inspiration behind our love for food.
Wow.
He didn't have a restaurant or anything like that. He didn't make a business out of it, but he loved cooking and he loved food. At our family farm where we grew up, we had this little place called the Kitchen House, and that's where we did all of our family gatherings. I mean, just a cookhouse with couches and a big long kitchen. And so he and his best friend literally would cook for us almost every weekend. And he had a pit at our family farm that he cooked barbecue on for family reunions, or when we would host the big opening day of dove season, or any kind of big family or friend oriented things like that. So he would barbecue. And I can remember, my dad can remember cooking on him. I don't personally remember him cooking on this pit. It was still there, but they raised hogs and pigs, and along with our row crop farming and all of that kind of stuff. But they got rid of all that, when I was still toddling around. I don't even know if I could walk yet by the time they got rid of.
So you've always heard stories about this time period,
right? But like I said, they had peach trees and blueberry bushes and blackberry bushes and muscadines, and I can remember us going and picking and doing whatever, and they would can stuff and make different things with all of the produce that was grown on the farm. That was his fun pastime.
And what kind of, I guess, encouraged you to get into hospitality? Was it something during that time that really led you down that path?
I think so. Like I said, our family, and it's not just Lazar and I, or our parents, but our family just loves food. So we're the kind of people that we may be eating lunch and we're already thinking about or planning what we're going to have for dinner. We're those kind of people. I can every Sunday in church, my brother or myself would be writing notes on the bulletin to my mama, what are we eating for lunch? And then it's okay, well, if that's what we're having for lunch, what are we having for supper? That. So food has always been a huge part of our lives, not just eating, but also preparing. I grew up cooking for my little brother when I was babysitting for him. It was always, if we went to my grandma's house, we were always going to bake something. She always knew if we were coming, we had to have something prepared. She had to get stuff for us to be able to bake something. So it's always been something that I personally have enjoyed. Lazar's enjoyed. Mom's got lots of pictures of us baking in the kitchen, growing up. And then when I graduated from high school, I thought I wanted to be a pharmacist. And I got through 1 year at UGA. I didn't even make it to chemistry. I got through calculus and I made a D. And I was like, well, I haven't even made it to chemistry yet. So I think this is not going to happen. Pharmacy school was not for me. And at that point, Lazar had gotten finished with culinary school, and she was the chef at her first restaurant here in Statesboro. And I went and worked with her. And I was like, you know what? I really enjoy the restaurant business. And so from then on, all through college, I worked at different restaurants or helped her with different stuff. I worked at Millhouse whenever they first opened. And I just really enjoyed it, and that wasn't even the kitchen side of things. That was all front of house stuff, or for the most part, it was all front of house. I would help Lazar in the kitchen some. And I was good at it. I like being around people and talking to people, and I met so many different people through all of that. So, and people are happy when they're eating. So, if you can be part of that, then it's just is a good feeling.
If there was one thing that you enjoy the most about, doing restaurants, what do you think?
I think it's just being able to meet such a wide variety of people. And like I said, I don't know, and the joy it brings them. My favorite thing is if somebody calls and says, you know what, I had your barbecue today, and it was the best barbecue I've had in, the last 10 years, and I've eaten barbecue all over the state. That is a great feeling. And just getting to know those people. I don't get a lot of time to, go out front and sit down and talk to customers, but when I do, it's that connection that you can make with people, and they may know somebody that that from back in whatever day. I just love being able to put together those kind of connections. So I think
the word for that is community.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So how about, what kind of encouraged you to start Dolan's in Millen?
So there just wasn't really a barbecue restaurant in Millen anymore. We grew up with one that's still there, and literally we used to go there on Sundays after church, almost every Sunday. We were going to go to Brinson's Barbecue and pick up a couple of pounds, some potato salad, and a loaf of white bread, and that was Sunday lunch. But it's outside of town, and so we barbecue in the past 10 years, maybe even just in the past 5 years, has really
exploded.
It has, a barbecuer won a James Beard Award. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy, like, kind of unheard of. So that just goes to show you that it's really, and it's become such a, I don't know the right word. Like, what would be the word that I'm looking for, Adam? I'm just having a blank right now.
A movement?
Yes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a good word for that. Yeah. And so we knew that if we didn't start a barbecue restaurant in Millen, that somebody else was going to. And like going back to the whole, we knew we wanted to have something named after our grandfather, and it just kind of clicked. Like, why would we not, like, Dolan's barbecue? Like, it's meant to be. Yeah. So we started working on all that. We didn't know a lot about barbecue. Like, we love barbecue. We love to eat barbecue, but we didn't know a whole lot about the technique behind all of it. So we did a lot of research on how we wanted to cook it, and we knew that we wanted to somehow model our pit after the pit that he had at the farm. So we started like working on that, and we went to a lot of different barbecue places. Like, we love to do research and development and go to different cities and do barbecue tours and that kind of thing. So we started working on all that. We got a plan together. We found a great little building that was right on Highway 25. It was so small, but like we made it work. And yeah, we learned a lot very quick about the different parts of barbecuing. And you know, it was a collective effort between myself, Lazar, her husband. Like, he helped cook barbecue at 2:00 in the morning. Our little brother, he was still in college at that point, he would come and cook barbecue at 2 a.m. and study for his test or whatever. And it really became my baby. Like, Lazar had her baby of honey and the cheesecakes and all of that, and so like we own this business together, but she's the cheesecake queen and I'm the barbecue queen, I guess, is kind of how we decipher between it. And as I like really kind of grew into it and started working through, like, we perfected our barbecue and we had our sauces and we had our sides. So then we really started working on people aren't going to eat barbecue 3 days a week for lunch. Because, I mean, it's a fatty meat. Like, it's not something you necessarily want to eat 3 days in a row if you want to have a good heart. So then we started coming up with all these really great, fun, funky, and different specials. So, like, how can you still integrate barbecue into these different ways? So, like, I'll do Asian-inspired specials, or I'll do, like, Spanish, Mexican-inspired stuff. So, like, that is my outlet for creativity. Like, I love it. So, and it's just fun. And people are like, oh my gosh, like, in Millen, you don't have a whole lot of variety, you know? So I try to bring stuff that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise.
Fantastic. So are you planning on bringing that same system into the Statesboro market?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And currently we're actually sitting inside of the lovely
Dolan
barbecue.
You've heard some of the construction sound in the background.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
And so describe for some of the listeners out there, I guess, you know, what is the experience that you want people to feel when they step into the restaurant?
So I call this vibe that I have going on in here, like, retro industrial.
Retro industrial.
Or retro industrial. I don't know what comes first. Also, a lot of my inspiration has come from, I love music. Like, I've told people, I feel like I was born in the wrong generation, like, especially when it comes to my music choices. I love oldies. Like, I grew up listening to, like, the Beach Boys and Aretha Franklin and Otis Redding and CCR and like that. So I took a lot of my inspiration from like old records. Like, we've got a jukebox over here. Like, this is that may be one of my most favorite things in the restaurant.
Working? Oh, what?
Yes.
So people can go on there and then play jams?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
that's
It's
fun.
so cool. Like, I love it. And then, like, we are a female-owned barbecue restaurant, but we do like to, you know, I don't want to say harp on that, but like
it's important.
Take advantage of that. But also, I didn't want it to be frilly in here either. Like, I don't want some pig with lipstick on it. Like, that's not what we're about. Like, we still wanted it to be like a barbecue vibe, but not some. I feel like every barbecue restaurant is red and black, and they've got you know, like, it's rustic and all that. I don't want it to be that. Like, this is supposed to be like my dream restaurant. So I like went all out and did all these things. Like, Our branding was done by Pioneer.
They do a great job.
They do awesome. And so whenever they took their inspiration from my love for old music.
Mm-hmm.
So like our logo up here, that was based off of a record.
Oh, I see it. I see it. I love it.
So, we took inspiration from that, obviously, and brought in all of our color choices, from our branding and that kind of thing. And then we've got a lot of different materials. So, I don't know. I really love it.
The restaurant's absolutely beautiful. There's a section here that I wanted to kind of point out. We have this very kind of like very themed, congruent thing, and then all of a sudden in the middle we have kind of like this. How would you describe the teal section of?
So that
the
is
restaurant?
where Honey Specialties is going.
Fantastic.
Yes. So it's going to be like a store within our restaurant. So Lazar is moving her Honey 2 from downtown that serves cheesecakes, chicken salad, pimento cheese, casseroles, and then like specialty, Southern made items, whether it's pralines or cheese straws, jellies, jams, that kind of thing. So you can stop in and get a piece of cheesecake and grab a couple of pounds of barbecue for dinner, or you may be in here enjoying drinks and a sandwich, and you can grab a piece of cheesecake on the way out, or take a casserole home for dinner. It's kind of a one-stop shop now.
I think it's a phenomenal kind of twist to the normal barbecue restaurant, because normally you don't see things like that where like two businesses coming together, where they're serving the community in a way where you can have different options, right?
Sure.
And I think that within itself, it sets you guys apart.
It just made sense for us, like instead of paying rent somewhere on a different building, like we can be together, but still be separate.
That's right. That's fun. Another kind of thing that stands out is this beautiful bar behind me.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So bar service is new to me. I've never run a restaurant that has a bar in it, but we're really excited about it. We've taken a lot of the old bars that are no longer in Statesboro and named our cocktails after those.
Okay.
And so we've got Legends.
Okay.
That has Pop Rocks in the actual drink. So, and then we've got Bill's Place that features PBR, which is our house beer. We've got, what else? I'm trying to think. We've got a great margarita. That's not really named after a restaurant, but it does have smoky chipotle tequila in it, which is like my new favorite. So we're just trying to bring some funky and different things, that aren't everywhere else.
I think it's super cool. Barbecue restaurants, for the most part, don't usually have a bar kind of like in them. So, that twist is very unique.
Yes.
And I think on top of that, if there's one thing that's true within all of your story, it's the fact that, whenever there is something that you set your mind to, regardless of how much time you have to put in, how much learning you have to do, you're going to figure it out and make sure that it's the best for everybody that, decides to make their decision.
Well, I hope so.
Here. So I definitely am super excited for kind of like the things that you have going on.
I'm ready to see it all come together. Like this, we've been working on this for over a year now, well over a year now. And, this building was literally like just bones. A lot of people were like, why would you not just tear this place down and start fresh? But the bones were good. So, and we love to take something old and make it fresh and new again. And this corner has been sitting here for 25 years, maybe even a little bit longer than that, with nothing in it.
That's right.
Except maybe like some homeless people that were in here,
right.
that kind of thing. So,
or Green Man.
Green Man, yes, Mr. Greenman, he's so sweet. Like, and we wanted to bring him in and maybe have a night a week that's designated for the Green Man and have him set up on the porch.
Where is he now?
Peanuts.
Is he still selling peanuts?
Yes, he's on the corner. He's selling peanuts, firewood. He sells collards whenever they're in season. He's on the corner of 80 coming in, and that would be North Main. So he's got a great spot.
Yeah.
Like
High
maybe,
visibility.
yes, maybe even more exposure than he had here. Like he was really sad whenever he had to leave from here.
I mean,
Like,
it's all good, right? Like,
yeah,
I think that, as Statesboro continues to change and as new ideas are being brought into the market, I think that, it's bound to have, those type of effects. But as long as we're moving forward towards the future, I think that that's what's most
sure,
important.
right. And like I said, I want to have him come in and it be like that. It's the Green Man's night,
That's
and
right.
we have him come and still be a part of all of this.
That's
Like
right.
I really wanted to make sure we did that. So,
So tell me a little bit about, I guess, the process of, you starting a restaurant, especially with a project like this. Maybe
well,
some advice for people out there that want to potentially start their own restaurant.
just be prepared. Be prepared for, things not happening as quickly as you want them to. I feel like that's always the case. And just get as much information as you can. Ask other people. Ask them for help. Ask them for information. Because if you don't, like, people aren't just sitting around freely giving information. Ask your friends like Adam to come and help you.
Absolutely. No problem at all. Ask me anything that you guys want.
Yes, yes. And then just being prepared. Whenever we first started this project, they were wanting to know paint colors like before we even started working on this building, and I'm just like, why do y'all want to know this right now? Like, or material. I'm like, why is that important? And I understand now, why they wanted to know these things, so that they weren't asking me right before it needed to be done. Like, it was a decision that was already made. And be ready to answer lots and lots of questions and make a lot of decisions. Like, I'm just ready. I was like, I'm just ready. I don't want to have to make any more decisions. Like, I'm tired of that.
That's right. That's right. Let's talk a little bit about the future.
Gosh.
We have this restaurant which is about to flourish.
Yeah, I hope.
What comes after that?
I don't know. Like, I don't have some big 5-year plan. Like, I want this to get open and be thriving and get to the point where it's self-sufficient and I don't have to be here to babysit it 24/7. Like, which I will never be the type of business owner that is not present at their business, because that's just not me. But I do want to be able to hire staff and management that's, I feel comfortable saying, y'all got this. Y'all don't need me, or, they don't want me in their hair. Like, they're like, go home, get out of here, go work on something else. I've had a lot of people ask me if we would have more than one location. And I think this will be the, deciding factor. If I can get this to the point where I feel like it can run without me being here, then sure, why not have another one somewhere else?
I guess that begs the question of, were you able to do that with Dolan's and Millen?
No. We
Really?
closed Dolan's in Millen, and everybody's so sad. Like, this will be our first week not being open
Oh,
in Millen.
really?
Like, last week was our final week there, and everybody is really upset and sad. I will say, like, I have thought about doing a food truck. Like, you just started a food truck not that long ago, right?
That's right.
And how do you like it?
I am having a blast with it.
So how do you do that? Like, where do you go, or how do you decide where you're going to go and set up? Is it just by a special event?
Statesboro is a little bit different. With Statesboro, it doesn't have a food truck culture yet.
Right.
For restaurants inside the area, we're probably one of the first restaurants to do a food truck.
Yep.
And with that, it takes time to build, right? It's not
Sure.
exactly the easiest thing to do. However, we've just been really plugging away at features inside the community. So,
Yeah.
for example, like the fair, we were very present at the fair, had an awesome time.
Yeah.
And just doing events inside the community is where it's at. We're oftentimes at the hospital. Serving
Cool.
the community there, and as that begins to build, I think that's the way that you go about it.
Right.
The only other food truck that I can think of is really Johnny's, like a local business. But would love to have you join kind of like our food truck scene in Statesboro.
So that was kind of another step. So maybe before trying to add another restaurant, have a food truck. And because there are so many surrounding towns that have asked, like, hey, would you put a Dolan's here? Would you put one here? Well, maybe instead of having a brick and mortar, like, we have a schedule and people know, like, Dolan's will be in Sylvania on Tuesdays, Millen on Wednesdays, Swainsboro this, and go to these surrounding towns and satisfy their barbecue need and then go somewhere else, So it's a good way to be able to put yourself out there without having to build something.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Dolan's was named after your grandfather.
Right.
If there were some words to describe Dolan.
Oh my gosh, I'll cry. Like larger than life, and just a great personality, a great love for life, and passion for family and food. So he definitely passed that on to all of his grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry.
I didn't. That question, sorry. I did not mean for that to happen.
I'm sorry. It's been okay. Building because people ask me about him a lot. So, and he's no longer with us.
Yeah.
But he would definitely be, I hope, proud.
Absolutely. For something to have his name and, honestly, all the emotion that you have, can be felt through food. And
right.
I think that at the end of the day is what makes this concept so powerful.
Absolutely.
Of, that, memory of him is
yep.
what's driving every single item that's coming out of this kitchen,
yeah.
which is great. That is amazing.
Yep.
So
sorry.
It's okay. I was not expecting that. I can definitely say that this is a first for me.
I can tell the look on your
face. Whoa. It's good though. Happy
sorry.
tears.
Yeah,
Happy tears.
Absolutely. For sure. Like we got his whole big picture on the wall over here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a dedication to him. And, if he was here, he would be so happy and love it so much, and probably also tell me some things I could do differently or do better, because that's just his personality. But I can't wait to. My grandma, she came and saw it just from the outside, but I can't wait for her to come in and see the inside and see his picture on the wall, and she's really excited for us and proud. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, on behalf of the UKnowAdamTsang podcast, I want to thank you so much for sharing a little bit about kind of the story and how you got here. We are at Statesboro, as a representative of Statesboro, I guess if you would call me, we are all super excited. We've been watching from, driving by every single day to seeing everything being built, and, just super excited to be able to taste what Dolan barbecue is all about.
Well, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it. I always enjoy our conversations and time together. So we can't wait to be open and have you here and have you be a customer.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Yes, thank
all right.
you.
Awesome.
Bye, guys.